because of that shared vision, they have grown Asia's most successful economy. I therefore want to appeal to our colleagues, just like you fought in your primary school, secondary school, A-level school, up to university to succeed, let us work for a vision so that our country can come out of poverty. Mr. Speaker, this requires dedication, commitment, and a desire, Mr. Speaker, to live in the midst of success. Why do we continue celebrating politics that speak to poverty instead of politics that speak to prosperity? Mr. Speaker, it's a shame that we know what to do, but we don't do it. For example, infrastructure, Mr. Speaker, as spoken to by the President, is critical. But because of poor national decision-making, the infrastructure that can spur the economy is not given priority. For example, if we must dual roads in Kenya, the first road to dual is from Mombasa to Nairobi, followed by the road from Nairobi to Malaba border. Why? Because the gateway into our economy is Mombasa, and the exit from our economy to the biggest market to our country, Uganda, is through Malaba border. Why have we not dualed those roads? Instead, we have chosen to dual the road, very important, to Central Province, not because of its economic significance, but it's because of its political significance, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, we need a paradigm shift whereby we think Kenyan. And I want to call upon leaders from Central Province not to succumb to the pressure from a few, very few misguided leaders who some of us don't even know where they came from, who are busy trying to radicalize on tribal lines a region so critical to this country, so that, Mr. Speaker, they can have an opportunity of saying, having supported him, and now that we are talking about withdrawing the support, the country is failing. That is not the way to think. One of the motions that I'd be most proud of in this country, Mr. Speaker, is the motion that exercised the power of this parliament to remind the president and deputy president that they are not above law. This is the route to go. And I look at young members of parliament from Mount Kenya region, with due respect, shy and keep quiet, that if they take on the so-called, the big man, so-called big man of the region, they jeopardize themselves. It is not true. We've been there in 2007, Mr. Speaker, sir. The country was mobilized against the communities of Mount Kenya. And Soita Shtanda and I, we refused. And all members of parliament from the then Western Province and Nyanza Province and Rift Valley Province, if you are not in the Orange Democratic Movement, there's no way you would be elected because of the lie of mobilizing the country against one community. We stood against that, Mr. Speaker, Soita Shtanda and I, and we won the election. Despite that, I therefore want to encourage young members of parliament from Mount Kenya to ignore the threats that are meant to make you fear to embrace nationalism instead of regionalism. Mr. Speaker, having said that, allow me to speak to the agriculture sector in this speech. The President said quite a number of things, but I want to speak to sugar and coffee. Mr. Speaker, for the first time in the history of this country, we have now produced surplus sugar. I am a farmer of sugarcane, and I can assure you the reason was only one thing. subsidized fertilizer. I want to urge the governor of Kwale, Tana River, Kakamega, Busia, Bungoma, Migori, Kisumu, and Homa Bay to step it a notch higher by supplementing plowing of those farms. If the young president in West Africa was able to buy tractors, I don't see anything stopping our governors from